Hello everyone and welcome. Today I am going to kick off the video by putting together my title page for my photo a day project for 2022, and then I'm also going to flip through the embellishments that I've made for the entire year for my photo a day project, and also my January pages as well, all ready for my photos. You can see I've already got everything cut out here. It's all designed, drawn and cut using my Cricut machine. So all the pieces here are ready to go. I've already put all those through my Cricut machine on the mats, and I've got everything all organized, ready to go. I wanted to film this one because there's a couple of little things and techniques on here that I wanted to share. You can see by these papers, they're black and white papers, and they're using the current January-February 2022 mixing collection. One side is black and white designs, and the other are a grey and white design. But what I've decided to do for the title page and for January pages as well is to use the black and white designs. So for my title page, I'm just using these two patterns here. For January pages, I'm using these two patterns. And in February for the layouts, I'll be using these two patterns as here. And I've also used the zip strips in my January pages. So stay tuned. When I've done all the assembly of this, I'll be flipping through those January layouts. You can see here the drawing with the Cricut machine. So I've done that in a circular fashion to represent the photo a day project. And then I'm going to apply some liquid glue to all of these pieces here and make sure that I put these down, alternating the patterns. So now I have all of those adhered, I can just flip that over and you can see that the pattern papers are showing through, and then I just need to apply the center of my zero. So now that that is done, I'm just going to set that aside, and I'm going to use my tape runner and apply adhesive to the surface of this heart. So I'll start with one strip, and I'm purposefully going close to the edge of the heart because I want to save some of these pieces for part of the design. So we're going to lie all of these down. I'm going to alternate the pattern because when this is cut out, not all of the pattern has come out the same. You can see that some of it has the diamond design showing and some of it is just the lines. So I want to make sure that I alternate that as I go down the heart. And I've got just a little piece here that I need to cover with the black. So I'll just trim a little piece of that off and apply some liquid glue, and then I'm going to just put that there to cover up the bottom part of that piece. Because I've done this on an all-purpose mat, any excess from my tape runner I can just rub off my mat. So now I'm just going to set that aside to wait for the liquid glue to adhere. So while that's adhering, I'm going to put my camera together. I've actually cut this out of silver foil cardstock, the base, and the top pieces are out of black glitter. There's my camera all put together. I love the silver foil as the base for this. And now that that piece has all dried, I'm going to just follow the edge with my non-stick micro tip scissors and go around the edge of this heart. So that's all trimmed out now. I'm going to adhere this to the black heart. There's a little bit of a border around the edge of it just to make it stand out just that little bit more. And rather than throwing all these pieces away, I'm going to keep the longest ones to use on my layout. I've got black cardstock as my base, and there's going to be a 1/4 inch border all the way around. And now I'm going to adhere my photo mat. This will hold a 5x7 photo. So as the year goes on, I'll decide whether or not I'm going to print it as a 5x7. One photo might be a favorite photo from the year, or I might do a collage to put on there. And I'm lining this up with my ruler to the base of the 2022. So the height of this is exactly the same as the height of the black photo mat. I wanted to bring in these strips from the leftover pieces of this heart just to continue the pattern paper design across this section of the page. So you can see that by putting the heart on the page and then the camera over top, that breaks up the pattern and it gives a focal point of the camera. I've put some thin 3D foam tape on the back of the heart, and I've purposefully left this section clear so that I'm able to tuck my photo in, and I'm just going to position this on the layout on a bit of an angle. And then with the camera, I have put the regular 3D foam tape, which is a bit thicker, on this section here, and then just a regular adhesive on this side because of the height of the heart. So this is going to go on an angle, and I've left that top section clear as well. So I'll just take this away, and then I'm just going to quickly walk through the elements that I have already prepared. I love doing the circle titles. So you can see here I've got all of the months already prepped. So I'm ready to go for 2022. And these are all done in Design Space as well, so the writing and the cutting is all done. And I do change the design up a little each year. I love the circle element, and it's just a case of adhering it to the black mat. And then with the months, when I do these in Design Space, I do have a little trick to make it easier for myself when it comes to putting all of these together. Because as you can see, all these little banner pieces are different sizes. So rather than sitting there and trying to work it out, I actually use the metallic pen to print the month on top of the black piece, so I know exactly which piece goes where. And I'm about to show you the January pages, and you'll see that the numbers will match in with that banner element. Let's have a flip through of the album as it's put together so far. Obviously, I've got to print my January photos, but I tend to do that all in one go for the month and do the journaling at the same time. You can see with this title page, I've added in a black acrylic arrow to point towards the photo, and also some black acrylic hearts. And this little one right in the center of the camera is really rather cute. So you can see with the double page spread, all the photo holders I've listed as 3x3. But if I decide I want to do a 3x4 photo, then I can. It's easy enough to extend these across and over these layouts. I keep them clean and quite simple. And I'll link to the video where I walked through my 2021 project. Obviously, I haven't got my photos printed quite yet. I do like to do that sort of all in one go for the month, and then I put the journaling in. I post my photos to my Instagram account, and a lot of the format there is square, so I like to keep it in this format. With these layouts, there's plenty of space to add some splatters or some more acrylic arrows and elements. It just depends on what I want to add to the pages. I love the black and white look of this mix-in paper packet. I think it lends itself really well to the photo a day, but the mix-ins generally do have a generic type of a pattern, so it makes them perfect when you've got such a wide variety of photos. For this month, I have designed word art for each page, and you can see that the little date labels replicate the banner for the start of the month. I do work back to back with my white cardstock. I always build my pages onto white for my photos because I find that's always the best solution for the variety of photos that I have. But it is all, of course, personal taste. It's just what I prefer to do. All of these have been welded together, and they have a little outline that goes around them, and that makes it quite easy to put them together. And I'm loving the large titles for this. You can see here that I've used a zip strip on this page and the next, and both of these are just one zip strip. I've just cut them into 1/4 inch strips so that I've got one for each side, and I've kept with the black and white strips for this. And then on the last page, as always, I have the circle element for the month. And this one I've put off to the edge and just trimmed off because this is the main sort of pattern running down the page, and it just seemed to suit itself quite nicely to have an edge cut off rather than to have another circle element here. And this zip strip I've kept at its normal width so that it runs quite well down on this side, ready to start the February pages. So the last layout for each month usually only has, depending on the month, either 3 photos or 2 photos. And I always have one a little bit larger as a 6x4. Of course, depending on what I've taken, I can swap these numbers around. So if I find that my day 29 photo is one that I want to feature as a larger format, then I can just swap the numbers around. Going back to this title page, I just wanted to show another option that brings in a bit of color. What I've used here is plain cardstock, candy apple, lemon, green apple and glacier, and I've used the light side, and then I've created my own patterns with the perfectly imperfect patterns. So I've stamped these 3 blocks over 3 of them and lined them up going down. The arrow running across just hides where I didn't quite line this grid pattern up perfectly. And the lemon, I don't know if it's picking up on camera, I've used this blotch one and just done tone on tone stamping with all of these, but for this one I just kept going over the top to fill it up. I'll hold it up to the camera a bit more so that you can see, hopefully, how it adds just a little bit of texture onto those numbers. I'm very excited to be starting this project off again this year. I do love taking a photo each and every day. Sometimes I follow photo prompts from groups that are on Instagram if I'm a bit stuck about what I'd like to take a photo of. There's so many photo a day groups that are available to use as a research if you just need a little bit of a clue as to what photos to take each day. I'll put some links below in the description to my Facebook group, and that will have some more details on the projects and the style of the pages for you to have a look at if you care to do so. Thank you so much for watching, and I would just like to say keep taking photos. Doing this project really is quite rewarding. It's a great one to look back on, and I've loved kicking the year off with this black and white mix-in papers, and you'll see that black and white theme again for my February layouts. I'll put some still shots up at the end. Thank you so much for watching. Happy crafting, and bye for now.